Good afternoon, students. My name is David Sampson, and I'm the tutor for Environmental Education EE31. I want to welcome you to this specific sessions, which will focus on specifically preparing you for the assignments for this specific course. And we are going to look at a few aspects around when you prepare and submit your assignments. Now, as part of the introduction, I want to explain to you what the objective of this presentation is all about. Basically to assist you as students to be able to gain an understanding of the different ways of questioning, especially with regard to the assignments, the questions in the assignments for the 3 sections. We are going to revise a few theoretical and technical aspects of writing and preparing your assignment. We are also going to look at the application of the learning outcomes for EE31 in the different sections. And then just to familiarize yourself with the various aspects related to the assignment. Now, if we need to look at the technical aspects of your assignment, it's important that you take into consideration what I'm about to explain to you. Now, you should be familiar with the assessment policy, specifically with regard to how the assignments are assessed, as well as what is the weighting and contribution of assignments towards the end of the year. It's important that you do that. When you plan your assignment, before you start writing your assignment, it's important that you ensure the correct layout of your assignment. I think by now you all know what I mean when I refer to the layout of an assignment or any assignment for the other courses that you are doing. It's important that you do have a table of content. It's important that your assignment should have an introduction. It's important that you make sure that your numbers, the pages are numbering correctly. You should have headings, subheadings, conclusions, and references. Now, what most of the students sometimes do is that they make the mistake also when they do use other sources, they do not reference their sources. So it's important that you pay special attention to referencing when you answer questions in the assignments. If you make use of other sources, make sure that you reference either in text or towards the end when you provide your list of references for the assignment. It's important that the ideas of other people, if it's not your own ideas and it's ideas of other people, make sure that you give credit to the person when you use other information from other sources. It's important that you also list all your sources that you use in your assignment. One important aspect, a very important aspect, is the issue of plagiarism, copying. So it's a very serious offense. So please make sure that whenever you do copy other people's work or refer to other people's work, that you reference. I'm continuing with some of the theoretical aspects related to your assignment in terms of the fact that you have to make sure that you read the instructions to the questions. You are required to do all the questions. If it is required, do all the questions, because it's important. It will obviously affect your marks towards the end. If you do not do all the questions, do not expect to get high marks. It is important that you check the mark allocation for each question in the assignment. If a question is allocated 10 marks, you have to make sure, read the question, what you are supposed to do in order to get 10 marks. And then observe the level of questioning. Obviously, if you are asked to list and name, do not explain or describe. If you are asked to describe or explain, do not list and name. Obviously, students make the mistake, and when you do that, you lose marks as well. Understand what the question requires by focusing on the key words. When I say key words, is actually the phrases or the verbs used at the beginning of the question. For example, if a question asks you to describe, that is the key word, meaning describe. If it asks you to explain, you need to explain. And when you have to name, list, and state, that is what the question is requiring of you. So read your questions correctly in order to answer the questions correctly. If you do not read the questions correctly, you won't be able to answer the questions correctly. So it is very important that you read the questions first so that you can get an idea of what is required of you to be able to proceed. It is important that when you are not able to type your assignment using a computer, then if you need to write with a pen or by hand, it's important that you write clearly, write neatly, so that I would be able to read and see and understand what you are writing. And also look at grammatical correctness. Sometimes students make a lot of mistakes, especially grammatical mistakes. It's important that you answer what is required. If you do not answer the question, obviously, as I've mentioned earlier, you will not be rewarded. That is important. Some guiding principles with regard to when you prepare your assignment. You know that assignments are important because it assesses your understanding and application of the content that was covered in the different modules, and not necessarily for you to reproduce the material presented in the study guide. You must read with the necessary understanding. If you read and understand, with understanding, you will be able to master the content. The assignments is also there to stimulate the format and level of especially preparing you for the kind of questions that you might expect, for example, in the examination papers, in order to prepare yourself properly also for writing the examinations and making a success of the exams. So assignments are not given to you just for the sake of, for you to be able to answer questions and get marks, but it's also, as I've indicated, it's a kind of preparation towards the examination. The assignments are in line with the prescribed content and usually cover very important topics, which are also important for the exams. So it is expected that if you type your assignment, make sure that it is in the necessary format, especially the font Times New Roman, size 12, and then 1.5 spacing. If you can't do that, typing it on a computer, like I've said, write it neatly, write clear enough in order for me to make out what you actually are writing. It's important that you print on one side of the page to make the marking easier, but if under extreme difficult circumstances you are not able to do that, then obviously you can submit it. If you need to do that on double-sided, it's fine. Okay, now other information which I just want to share with you is the issue around, I understand that you want to make a success out of your program or your studies, so it's important that you sort of work hard and with determination. In order for you to succeed in this course, I want to give the following study tips, just to keep you floating. So familiarize yourself with the content of the course or the course syllabus. Spend some time looking at the course syllabus to find out what is expected of you. Be realistic. You will be frustrated if you do not have sufficient time to study in your personal schedule. So, though you may not be required to attend classes on a full-time basis, you will be expected, to do regular individual academic work or group work. If you can work as a group, or you can find a work buddy which is doing the same course in your area, that is even better. So set goals and deadlines for yourselves and then try to stick to them. So thinking about doing the whole course can be overwhelming. I know, especially for EE31, based on the content that is covered in this module, it is really important that you work out the schedule in terms of how you want to cover the content with the specific module. You are required to accomplish or rather complete parts of it in reasonable time periods. So keep a calendar, show the number of weeks in the semester, mark it off with the amount of work you need to do for each week, and mark in the days when you will expect to write exams or submit your assignments, or even contact your lecturers. The hours are indicated, especially if you need assistance, to contact the tutor or the lecturer with regard to certain aspects of your course. It's important that you evaluate your progress, reread and read with understanding, as I've mentioned earlier. Apply various study resources. Take a lot of notes. And take time to study your study guide or any other textbook that is prescribed for the course. Like I've said, also find some study friends. If you need to companionship and other students for academic success, feel free to ask anybody for help in verifying students that are doing the same course in your area. And students who want to work with you. That's very important. A few other aspects is organize your schedule. Unlike in the exam, you know that there are no optional questions in the assignment. So read the questions, consult the relevant unit and topic in the study guide. And important that you adhere to due dates for your assignment. So if you miss a due date, obviously you know what the consequences are. So it's important that you stick to the due date. And try and stay in touch with your lecturer or your tutor as much as you can through email, for example, or necessary through the WhatsApp group. If you have a WhatsApp group, then it's even better because it will make the communication easier. And then you reach a lot of people at the same time with the same questions and the same issues. In case of uncertainty regarding coursework or assignments, always call or email the tutor for clarification, which is important. So if you have a problem, don't sit on the problem, try to think it through. If you get stuck, find help either through some of the students doing the course in your area or the tutor for that matter. You can contact me after hours, which is 17:30 to 19:30. All days or any day by email. So the contact details are there, email details as well as the cell number. And in conclusion, I just want to say, believe in yourself, believe that you can do it. So I want to wish you all the best in your studies for this specific course and for other courses that you are doing.